Every 35 seconds, someone somewhere in the world is diagnosed with blood cancer. Blood cancer is estimated to account for 8% of all new cases of cancer in India. To spread awareness about blood cancer and support people fighting the disease, May 28 is observed as World Blood Cancer Day every year. On this occasion, we have with us Dr. Narendra Agarwal, Senior Consultant, Department of Hemato-Oncology and Bone Marrow Transplant, Rajiv Gandhi Center Institute and Research Center, New Delhi. He will be telling us more about blood cancer and what can be done to minimize the risks and reduce mortality. Welcome to the Health Side Doctor.
Namaste. Thank you.
So first of all, doctor, tell us about what is blood cancer and what are its types?
Blood cancer is any cancer which is arising from blood cells. So our blood is having cellular components like lymphocytes, like myeloid cells. So any cancer which arises from myeloid or lymphoid cells anywhere in the body, it is a blood cancer. It's basically because of some alterations in the DNA of these cells, which leads to uncontrolled proliferation of these cells and dysfunction of these cells. So this is what is been known as blood cancer. And there are three broad categories of blood cancers. One is leukemia, another is lymphoma, and the third one is myeloma. Though there are many other blood cancers also are there, which can be broadly included in all these three categories. So three major categories of the blood cancers are recognized in the field.
So what are the symptoms of
Yes.
blood cancer that one should be aware of?
There are patients who can be asymptomatic actually. So some patients just come to us with some blood reports having indications of blood cancer, but not having any symptom. While there are many patients who come to us with symptoms, and symptoms are usually non-specific. These are kind of common symptoms which can happen in any disease like diabetes. Diabetes patients can have similar kind of symptoms, like a patient having tuberculosis or any other infection can have similar symptoms. So symptoms are non-specific. But to be precise, most of these patients can have fatigue, weakness, and they can have fever at any time during the course of their symptoms. They can have weight loss. There can be pains anywhere in the body, like bony pains, which can trouble them, like back pain. And then there can be certain symptoms which can indicate a type of cancer, like there can be bleeding from any site in the body, like nasal bleeding, oral bleeding, gum bleeding. Then there can be blurring of vision due to bleeding into the inside the eyes. There can be gums hypertrophy. The gums are swollen and bleeding. So which can indicate to a particular type of cancer, like leukemia patients can have such type of symptoms. Then there can be abdominal distension because of enlargement of the spleen, enlargement of the liver, or there can be lymph node enlargement anywhere in the body. Lymph nodes are present everywhere in the body, especially in the neck, in the abdomen. So these lymph nodes can be swollen and can be felt, can be seen grossly by other persons. So these are symptoms. And occasionally there can be fractures of the bone in particular cancer, like myeloma patients can have bony fractures, kidney failure. So these are symptoms, and symptoms depend on the type of the cancer. There is no such symptom which can tell you that you are having a blood cancer. Basically, you diagnose a patient with blood cancer with the help of symptoms, physical examination, and then investigation. So symptoms are, definitely a patient comes to you with a symptom, and symptoms are very important. So one person should be very vigilant to such kind of symptoms. If they are not resolving over the time, they are not getting relief with common medications, then they should try to contact a doctor for further investigation.
So among this type, which is the most common one worldwide?
These are three broad categories, not types. There can be there are leukemias. There are n number of leukemias. There is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia. Then lymphomas. There are many varieties of lymphoma. Similarly, a myeloma is a single disease. So these are three broad categories, and lymphomas are considered to be very common type of blood cancer amongst all these three categories. Though all three are very common if we consider them as an entity.
And what causes blood cancer? What are the main factors that can increase one's risk of developing the disease?
There are many factors, actually, many etiologies or causative factors behind blood cancers. Most important is age. Though the person can contract a blood cancer at any age, from early childhood to most elderly age group. But there are certain cancers which happen in elderly age group, and few cancers which have increased incidences with increasing age. Like we have acute myeloid leukemia, which increases with advancing age. Like acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is common in children, but it is less common in young adults, but then increases with age. So in elderly people, again, the acute lymphoblastic leukemia is common. Similarly, multiple myeloma is a disease of elderly people. So age is an important factor. Then definitely there are certain genetic factors which may play a role. Few cancers are seen in families. Then there are environmental factors like exposure to pesticides and herbicides, exposure to pollutants, especially the vehicle exhaust. So these are very common environmental factors to which we all are exposed. Then radiation, the environmental radiation, as well as the medical radiation. So these are also positive behind blood cancer. So these are factors which can cause blood cancer.
So can blood cancer be prevented?
It's very difficult to say because there is no foolproof way of preventing a blood cancer. But we can reduce the risk of having a blood cancer in our life, and we have to avoid all these causative factors, especially the environmental factors which I narrated. We should try to use pesticide-free products, which is actually not in our hand. It's government's initiative that the government should ban these harmful pesticides. So these are the factors. I think avoidance of pesticides. We should reduce pollution. Try to reduce pollution. We should avoid smoking. We should have healthy lifestyle. Doing regular exercise is also a factor which can reduce our chances of having a cancer later on in life. So I think these are very important, can reduce the risk of having a cancer, but there is no foolproof way of preventing a cancer fully.
So those who are predisposed to genetical factor have a higher risk of blood cancer due to genetical factors. How can they reduce their risks?
There are certain cancer which are commonly seen in families, and certain cancers are predisposed. Certain genetic defects, they can put a person at risk of certain cancer, but these are not preventable. Okay. There is nothing which can be done to prevent a cancer in those persons, though we can reduce the chance of having these cancers by following all these healthy measures.
So what are the diagnostic tests commonly used to determine blood cancer?
The diagnosis depends not only on the tests, but also on patient's symptoms and patient's physical examination. So it's very important to have a patient's history, where patient narrates his or her experience, what kind of symptoms he or she is having, like is she having a fracture or pain or simply fatigue or a fever or some lymph node enlargement. So symptoms are very important. Then a physical examination will guide you. Then a doctor can suspect possibly this person is having a leukemia or a lymphoma or a myeloma. So depending on symptoms and physical examination, then we go ahead with tests. So commonly the tests done are blood examination, the CBC, complete blood counts. So with this test, we know the hemoglobin, WBC count and platelet counts and presence of any cancer cell in the blood if it's there. Then after that, we usually do a bone marrow test. Bone marrow test is helpful in diagnosis of leukemias, multiple myeloma, and many other cancers. So bone marrow test is very important test for blood cancer. Then definitely a biopsy is very important. Suppose the patient is having a lymph node enlargement or a mass anywhere in the body. So a biopsy is very important to have a diagnosis of a particular cancer. Apart from that, we depending on the type of cancer, we have to do CT scans or a PET scan or MRI of the patient. And with the help of all these tests, we reach to a diagnosis as well as staging. So we can, after all these tests, we can say that this particular patient is having a leukemia or a lymphoma or myeloma and of this particular stage.
So when it comes to treatment, is there any advanced treatment that has shown any promising result in the recent time?
Treatment mostly are conventional chemotherapies. So cancers are treated with the help of medicines, and these medicines are called chemotherapies as a blanket. And chemotherapy has been in use for last 5 to 6 decades in India. But nowadays there has been many advances in treatment of the cancer. We are not only having chemotherapies, but we are having immunotherapies, we are having targeted therapies, and we are having bone marrow transplantation to treat cancers. And this treatment strategies or treatment regimes have been evolved over the time. So to achieve maximum cure rates and to minimize the risk or side effects of the treatment. So nowadays, if we come to advances in the treatment of cancers, we have targeted therapies. So many a times we have a patient with a cancer where we can find particular genetic defect or a DNA defect as a cause of cancer. And then we have a particular medicine to target that defect. So we call it a targeted therapy. And apart from targeted therapies, we have immunotherapies. So immunotherapy are actually medicines which are either antibodies against the cancer. These immunotherapies then go inside the body and attack the cancer. Or immunotherapy, they recruit patients' antibodies or patients' immune system to kill the cancer cell. So these immunotherapies are very recent advances, and they are helpful in treating certain bad cancers that are actually not curable with the help of chemotherapies. And apart from all these things, bone marrow transplantation. Bone marrow transplantation is very important, has been in use since last 5 decades, and in India at least for 4 decades. And this can cure leukemias, lymphoma, myeloma to some extent. And this is really very important, and it's available at many centers in India now.
So, doctor, if a person is diagnosed with blood cancer, what lifestyle modifications, particularly the diet, you would recommend for management of the condition?
Yeah, lifestyle modification is very important to maintain health of the patient. So hygiene is very important to prevent any infection, because cancer patients are immunocompromised and they are actually very susceptible to infections. And so hygiene is very important, whether it's food hygiene, hand hygiene, air hygiene. So hygiene is important. Then patient has to maintain his or her nutritional status, has to take calories to maintain muscle bulk, protein rich diet, and calories to maintain muscle bulk and body mass. So I think it's very important to have full food, balanced diet, protein rich diet, including fruits and everything, I think. So a patient should maintain his or her nutrition. Then they should avoid alcohol, tobacco, and smoke. It's very important. There are many patients, they still continue to take alcohol, tobacco, and they adversely affect their disease as well as treatments. So it's very important to avoid alcohol, tobacco, and smoke to the zero. Then they should avoid dusty and damp environment. They should wear a mask whenever they are coming out of their home. They should avoid dust and damp environments. I think these are very, very important to maintain their well-being.
So tell us about the complication associated with blood cancer and a patient's chances of survival.
So complications are many actually. Complications can be due to cancer itself or can be due to treatment. So because of cancer, patient can have infections in the body, because cancer leads to immunocompromised states. So patient can get infections like pneumonia or infection anywhere in the body, like intestines infection, skin infection. And the complication can be because of treatment. The chemotherapies or immunotherapies, they can cause side effects and complications. And they can be in form of organ toxicity. Like we have many organs in the body, liver, heart, kidneys, and there can be dysfunction of these organs, like heart dysfunction, like liver dysfunction. So these are all complications which can happen during the course of cancer and its treatment. And cure. You asked about cure also.
Survival
so
chances. Cure and survival chances. Okay.
Yeah. So it all depends on the type of cancer. There are cancers, blood cancers, in which most of the patients gets a cure or high chances of survival with the treatment, 90 to 100% chances of survival. While there are others which are bad cancers, and even after good treatment, most of the patients, they do not survive. So it all depends on the type of the disease the patient having. The survival chances has to be discussed with the doctor after getting a full diagnosis and staging of the cancer. But with currently available therapies, the chances of survival have improved remarkably.
So what about the gender when it comes to survival? Is there any gender factor like men and women like who are more have chances of survival?
No, I think there is. I have not seen any difference in chances of survival. If we consider I think there is no gender bias when we come to chances of survival in cancer.
And for other conditions, we have complementary and alternative medicines apart from the standard treatment. So is there any other such things for blood cancer?
I think there is no scientific data or scientific evidence available on efficacy or toxicity of all these alternative or complementary medicines. Though there is a belief amongst people of India, and in fact amongst people of world, there are beliefs that alternative therapies or complementary medicine they do work, but we actually don't have any scientific data or evidence of their efficacy and toxicity. So I personally feel that there is no complementary or alternative medicines available. I have not came across any patient or group of patients who were cured of their cancer with the help of but there are beliefs.
As per statistics, India ranks third highest in the reported cases of blood cancer after the US and China. Why did it so affect so many people in the country?
Yeah, India is a cancer hub now. It's third largest in world, and it's second largest population in the world. Still, I think there is underreporting. We are actually having many more patients, and they are not reported to the agencies. And the cause is mostly environmental factors. We are very highly exposed to harmful chemicals, pesticides, insecticides, and our governments have not been able to ban certain harmful chemicals which are actually banned in other Western countries. So this is one very important factor. Another is lifestyle. So we are actually moving towards higher consumption of alcohols, smoke tobacco or tobacco use, and I think these are the factors which are causing Indians to have higher number of cancer patients.
Today is the World Blood Cancer Day. Do you want to give a message to the people who have blood cancer and the patients particularly?
My simple message is that you have to have a hope. Even if you are having a bad cancer, there are curative therapies available. Even with a bad cancer, you are having a very high chance of cure and survival. But you have to reach to a doctor. You have to take full treatment. You have to maintain your hygiene, your nutrition, your good lifestyle. I think that will help a lot in improving survival of yours.
Thank you so much, doctor, for sparing your precious time and then sharing all this insightful information about blood cancer. Hope our viewers will gain a lot from these conversations. Thank you once again, doctor, and stay safe.
Thank you very much.